Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning and good afternoon. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His bless and mercy, we can come together without any obstacle here with healthy condition in the webinar. We are delighted to welcome you to the international webinar series with them Youth and Innovation for Sustainable Agriculture. This is part of summer course agenda with the topic sustainability on tropical animal production, creating innovation in the new normal era. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to join us today. Honorable Dr. Insinyur Arif Daryanto, Master of Economics, Dean College of Vocational Studies IPB University, Dr. Insinyur Bagus Priyo Purwanto, Master of Agriculture, and Dr. Insinyur Wawan Oktariza, Master of Science, Vice Dean College of Vocational Studies IPB University, Dr. Daisy Tambayong, Chairman Senate of Academic College of Vocational Studies IPB University, distinguished speakers, Mr. Pandu Damai Insani Taufik, Director of Operation PT Biomec, Mr. Ade Mulya, Head of Government Relations and Corporate Communication Tani Hub, Mr. Ruli Setia Purnama, CEO Minapoli, University Partner, distinguished participant, lecturer, and student. Ladies and gentlemen, on this webinar, we have several agenda as follows. Start with the opening speech delivered by Chairman Senate of Academic College of Vocational Studies IPB University, and then continue with photo session, and then introduction to moderator with panel session and discussion. And the last one, closing. Excellencies, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to listen to opening speech delivered by the Chairman Senate of Academic College of Vocational Studies IPB University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Daisy Tambayong. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Willie. Thank you for the chance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the international webinar organized by College of Vocational Studies IPB University entitled Youth and Innovation for Sustainable Agriculture. This webinar is part of the summer course program hosted by SV-IPB. We appreciate you taking time of your busy schedules to join us today. I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Arif Daryanto as Dean of College of Vocational Studies IPB University, Dr. Bagus Purwanto and Dr. Wawan Uktarisa as Vice Dean from SV-IPB, Mr. Pandu Damai Insani Taufik, Chief Operating Officer at PT Biomec Synergy International, Mr. Ade Mulya, Head of Government Relations and Corporate Communication Tani Hub Group, and Mr. Ruli Setia Purnama, CEO of Minapoli, for being keynote speakers from the industry sector of this seminar. According to USA, right now, youth are the largest generation in human history, with half of the world's population younger than age 30 and 1.7 billion people aged from 10 to 24. Youth seek out what they believe to be profitable and business-focused careers. They are increasingly turning away from agriculture. At the same time, the average age of farmers is increasing. Today, the average age of farmers is about 60 years old. So this from World Farmers Organization, a report from 2017. These two phenomena combined both limit the sustainability potential of agriculture in less developed countries and can prevent the diffusion of innovative technologies and practices into the agriculture system. There are many pathways to economic engagement for youth in agriculture. and not all of them mean getting hands dirty. Youth are involved and invest in activities that support agricultural production, capacity buildings, goods and services, logistics, and value addition as service providers and entrepreneurs. And of course, youth are also farmers with a distinct approach to agriculture and tend to prefer shorter season, high-value farm enterprises such as horticulture, poultry, and fisheries. What also distinguishes these new generations of youth in agriculture is its use of technologies, including digital financial services, the Y generations. Yes. Thus, youthful populations can be advantageous, especially in emerging economies. With an average age of 18 to 35, they have high levels of engagement with information and communications technology. They are active users of social media, particularly Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, and WhatsApp, and are bringing a new dynamism and perspective to agriculture. Information and communication technologies, including mobile phones and internet-based digital tools, are bringing new vibrancy and potential to agriculture practices worldwide. These tools and approaches can help address a number of challenges to the future of our food supply, including limited arable land, increased unpredictability of weather patterns, and food losses, so both on and off farm. However, leveraging these tools to their fullest potential requires a new set of skills and technical expertise. Young people are often more ready and eager to master these new technologies and apply them to agriculture to increase productivity and solve challenges. At the same time, these technologies can help demonstrate to youth how agriculture can be a viable and profitable business opportunity, increasing the desirability of agriculture-related career paths in lieu of alternatives youth might otherwise be seeking. On today's webinar, we can hear interesting topic from 3 different perspectives. From Tani Hub Group, important role of digital technology in enhancing efficiency of agricultural sector will be discussing, and followed by the innovation in processing food waste for sustainable environment from PT Biomed, and end up with the product in frame of the startup business will present by Minapoli. As the world faces unprecedented obstacles, we need people like this facing them head on. Not only because young bright minds can help come up with the solutions, but it is the younger generation and the following generation that will be most greatly impacted by the trajectory we find ourselves on. This is an example how the technology bundles end-to-end farm-to-market services, including the digital financial services for smallholders on a digital platform that is complemented by in-person and on-farm contracts. I sincerely wish from this webinar you will have productive days of interesting and stimulating discussion. And before I close this speech, I have a quote from Do Santama, an author and writer of Happy by Nature book, which say, "What you see depends on how you view the world. To most people, this is just dirt. To a farmer, it's potential. Always do your best. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the webinar. Thank you, Mr. Willie.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Desi Tambayong, for the opening speech. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, before we start main point agenda in webinar, we are continue with photo sessions, and the organizing committee will help to take the picture. Please, Mr. Danang, and please the participant.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Willie. All participants, please turn on your camera. We have 7 slides. Smile for slide 1. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Mr. Willie.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Danang. Okay. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are going to the presentations. The webinar will be moderated by Mrs. Sylvia Dewi Sagita Andik, Master of Science. And before we start, let me read her CV. Mrs. Sylvia Dewi Sagita Andik, Master of Science, graduated her Bachelor of Science in Department of Family and Consumer Science, IPB University in 2014, and then continue with Master of Science in Department of Management of Science, IPB University in 2018. Work and research experience, she is a lecturer College of Vocational Studies, IPB University in 2018 until now, and have research attachment Faculty Economics and Management, IPB University, and Faculty Economics and Management, University Putra Malaysia in 2017. Organization and professional certifications, member of Asian Association of Consumer Interest and Marketing in 2020 until now, digital marketing certification certified by BNSP, pendamping kewirausahaan certification certified by BNSP in 2021. Please welcome Mrs. Sylvia. Hello, Mrs. Sylvia.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Willie, for the opportunity that has given to me. Thank you.
Okay,
I will lead the presentation. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this webinar. Good afternoon for all the participants all over the world. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sylvia Dewi Sagita Andik, and as a moderator today, welcome to SV webinar entitled Youth and Innovation for Sustainable Agriculture. And this webinar, part of the 3rd summer course, SV-IPB University. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have 3 distinguished speakers. We can hear interesting topic from 3 different perspectives. The first speaker is Mr. Pandu Damai, and he would like to talk about the innovation in processing food waste for sustainable environment from PT Biomark. And I will read the curriculum vitae from Mr. Pandu Damai. He got the Bachelor of Engineering in IPB University in Department of Agro-Industrial Technology, and he's continue his Master of Science in Food Science, Food Engineering Laboratory, Kagawa University, Japan. And for the working experience, he is Chief of Operation Officer PT Biomark Indonesia, 2017 until now, and his internship program, 2010 Production and Quality Control PT Bali Maya Permai Food Canning Industry Bali, and 2016 Production and Packaging, Wet Foods Kagawa, Japan, and Production and Quality Control at the Table Mark, Kagawa, Japan, and 2017 Production and Packaging, King Food, Kagawa, Japan. And for the second speaker, he would like to talk about the role of the important role of digital technology in enhancing efficiency of agriculture sector. He is Mr. Ade Mulia. He is head of the government. I'm sorry. Could you previous slide? Head of government relation and corporate communication Tani Hub Group. And I will read the curriculum vitae. He got the bachelor degree in the Universitas Sahid in journalism and continue his master in University Utara Malaysia. And this is the employment history. Head of Government Relation and Corporate Communication Tani Hub Indonesia 2020 until present. News anchor Metro TV 2015 until 2021. News affiliate relation 2008 until 2013. Part-time lecturer Swiss German University Jakarta 2014 until present. And also I have read his achievement, especially in journalism. I will read that Mr. Ade got some achievement awards such as professional in corporate communication, government relation, and public affairs with almost 15 years experience in journalism. As a news anchor with specialization on macroeconomic development and capital market issues, and the winner of various external acknowledgement on both local and international awards. And then extensive knowledge and networking in Indonesia media and government. For the last speaker, I will read the curriculum vitae. He is Mr. Ruli Setia Purnama from Minapoli. Mr. Ruli graduated from the IPB University, and he is the working experience PPIC Chief Division Indo Marine, and then Chief Operating Office Balibara, and then Chief Operating Officer E-Fishery, and then now Chief Executive Officer Minapoli. And organizational experience, co-founder DigiFish Network, and then Deputy of General Secretary Masyarakat Aquaculture Indonesia, and then Chief of Professional Development Ispikani, and then now board member of founder Himakuwai. Okay, wow, that's so wonderful presenter. Okay, before we start the presentation, I would like to inform you the sequence of this webinar. This webinar is panel discussion. So the first session, we will hear the presentation for our speaker. I will give 25 minutes for each speaker. The first speaker, Mr. Panduraya. The second speaker, the first speaker is Mr. Pandu Damai. The second speaker is Mr. Ade Mulia, and the last speaker is Mr. Ruli. Okay, for participant, if you have question, you can type on the chat box, or you can ask directly to the speaker by click the raise hand symbol in your screen. So I will invite the speakers. Are you ready, Mr. Pandu?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Pandu, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sylvia. Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. My name is Pandu, COO of Biomech. Thank you very much for this fabulous opportunity from Sekolah Vokasi IPB. Thank you very much. And then I hope you are doing fine today, because in this pandemic, it's really hard condition for all of us. But still, we have this fabulous opportunity to share. I want to share about this bioprocessing of organic waste into a sustainable protein source. If I may, I want to start with a video. Is any appear in your screen? If there is, I will start the video now.
Sorry, Mr. Pandu, the sound is not.
Okay. Maybe a little bit technical problem in here. If there is a sound?
You haven't share your sound, I think. When you share screen, click the share sound, yeah.
It's already? No?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Maybe stop share first, Mr. Pandu, and then share again.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Pandu, maybe you have to
Yes.
repeat the process once more. When you click the share screen, there will be a window for you to pick which one. On the bottom of that window, you will find share
Okay.
computer sound.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to click that.
Okay.
After that, you can click OK.
Already?
Already.
Halo, saya Aminudi. Saya merupakan CEO dari Biomech. Biomech adalah perusahaan pengelolaan sampah organik perkotaan untuk menghasilkan pupuk organik dan sumber protein terbarukan. Ingin tahu lebih dalam tentang Biomech? Mari kita lihat.
Indonesia menghasilkan sampah yang sangat banyak setiap harinya. Terdiri dari 60% sampah organik dan 40% sampah anorganik. Jika hal ini dibiarkan, sampah organik akan menimbulkan efek buruk pada kota. Sampah-sampah organik ini harus diberi metode pengolahan yang lebih baik dan lebih efektif. Sekarang, Biomech datang untuk memecahkan masalah ini dengan metode yang lebih baik untuk mengolah sampah organik. Biomech memproses sampah organik menggunakan maggot yang tidak berbahaya bagi manusia. Maggot dapat memproses sampah organik dari berbagai tempat seperti restoran, market, manufacture, household dengan aman, dan dengan memakan banyak bahan organik, maggot menyimpan nutrisi dalam tubuh. Maggot yang menyimpan nutrisi dalam tubuhnya dapat dijadikan pakan ternak, dan dari proses itu juga menghasilkan pupuk yang dapat digunakan di ladang. Biomech tidak hanya menyelesaikan masalah sampah, tapi juga mensejahterakan masyarakat dengan membuat sirkular ekonomi.
Kami menggunakan maggot dari black soldier fly untuk mengolah sampah organik, karena dengan menggunakan maggot ini, kami bisa mengolah sampah lebih cepat dan aman bagi manusia. Selain itu, maggot mengandung protein yang sangat tinggi untuk ternak, mengandung asam amino dan mineral yang kompleks untuk kesehatan ternak.
Life cycle black soldier fly dimulai dari penetasan telur selama 3 hari. Setelah menetas, larva akan mulai memakan sampah organik selama 18 hari. Setelah besar, larva dapat dijadikan pakan alami. Untuk menghasilkan indukan lalat, larva didiamkan sampai menjadi pupa selama 14 hari. Pada fase ini, pupa tidak butuh makanan. Setelah itu, dari dalam tubuh larva akan keluar lalat. Pada fase ini, lalat hanya akan kawin dan bertelur. 100 gram telur lalat ini bisa memproses 1 ton sampah.
Biomech hadir untuk mengatasi permasalahan lingkungan, yaitu mengolah sampah organik lebih cepat dan lebih baik. Biomech hadir menghasilkan pupuk dan protein yang terbarukan. Selain itu, kami juga mensejahterakan masyarakat dan menciptakan circular economy. Mari bergabung bersama Biomek untuk menciptakan masa depan yang lebih baik.
Okay, that's some video that representing what we're doing our activity in our facilities. So we start the presentation about bioconversion of organic waste using BSF or black soldier fly to be a sustainable protein source. So I hope this is not any problem anymore. So we start this company about 2016. So for the past 5 years, we have processing maybe nearly 1,000 tons of organic waste. Maybe some of you already know about black soldier fly because it's getting famous for the past 3 years, I think. And I will share with you about how black soldier flies processing organic waste and produce new protein source and good fertilizer. This is our concept, and we recycling the organic waste, and we produce also a crop production, and there is a lot of benefits in this process. I will share with you, and we start this concept with the problem about food gap. Actually, this matrix show that expertise say in 2050 there will be a food gap between food needed and crop production. In next 30 years, I think the population growth, change in consumption will get food needed higher. On the other hand, the crop production is getting decreased. So we have to concern in this problem. And I get also the data from the Ministry of from government. From Jakarta itself, the capital of Indonesia, in 2020, this is the last year data, they produce 6,700 weights per day. In one day, they produce 6,700, and 40% of them is about 2,600 is food waste. And every day they produce that much, and the city surrounding them, such as Depok and Bogor, also produce very a lot of waste. And this problem is making of course, the increasing a population will increasing a dumping waste. And the final is the waste dumped to final discharge area and creating a lot of problems. And this is the data from Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. There is so much food loss in the world, actually, and roughly one third of the food population and food production in the world for human consumption get lost or wasted, and approximately 1.3 billion tons every year get lost or wasted. So it's very hard to believe, actually, but that's the data. It's the real data. And then from our society also, we also produce actually the food waste itself. Food waste, it's produced sometimes in residential, traditional market, hotel and restaurant, food industry, and the catering or canteen in medical facility or hospital. And there is the other organic waste source, actually. So the other hand, the other problems also, we still import the protein source for this. In this case, we still importing fish meal from other country. And from the data from Ministry of Fisheries, we still importing 10.8 million ton fish meal in 1 year. So we try to solve this problem. And the other problem also, which is Biomek providing organic waste decomposing faster from the organic waste problem. So for the security of protein source, we produce also sustainable protein source. And for food resources also, we produce also sustainable food source. So we try to solve in this problem with a lot of solution. So some of you may already know this, but some of you not. Maybe I will introduce these flies. Why this fly is special? I will give you some hints. So this fly, the name is black soldier fly. It's really cool name actually. Black soldier fly because this fly is the color is black. And what's special in this flies, in the larva phase, they can converting organic waste into new protein source with bioconversion process. So why Biomech use BSF? The special thing from the flies, this flies is not a pest. It's not a disease for human, and because of that, the BSF is very friendly. For example, if BSF come to me and touch my skin, there will be no harmful for me because the fly is very safe. And in the larva phase, BSF can process organic waste very quickly. And the larvae also can be a new source of protein. And then from the composting, they can process the organic waste 3 times faster than the traditional composting way. And of course, from the larvae, we can add some product and give some added value to them. So the advantage of the Biomech using the BSF is we can processing organic waste very quickly, also reducing the odor from the organic waste and producing new protein source in the sustainable way, because we produce organic waste in the society. We produce organic waste every day. So with this process, we can also producing new protein source every day. So as a byproduct, there will be a fertilizer. So we can providing opportunity also for secondary scale and city scale, also providing an appropriate and sustainable technology, creating opportunity for community and Indonesia and other countries. So this is the difference between black soldier fly or BSF and blue bottle. Blue bottle flies is like the flies that we meet in our house maybe every day. Maybe as you know, the fly is the left side. That's the fly that we almost every day we met. Then the larvae is like that in the left side. But for BSF, that's different. There is a different morphology with the bottle blue flies. From the BSF, the color is very black, and the larvae is a little bit yellow, and the pupae face is black. And I will introduce the black soldier fly more deeper. You can see that the black soldier fly has a lot of eyes. You can see in the microscope actually. And the right side is a difference between male and female flies. And the characteristic in their head, in their face, there is a hair around the mouth, like a sponge to absorb nectar or water or honey on flowers. And there is no part to bite or eat. So these special flies, actually we can say that they don't have a mouth to bite. They don't have teeth to bite. So if they come to us, they will no harmful for human. In these flies, adult flies have a length of 13 until 20 millimeters, and the size of the male flies is smaller than the females. This research is researched by Naltarini Fahmi from Ministry of Fisheries. And I will introduce a life cycle of black soldier fly. The all of cycle is from eggs to the fly is 1.5 months or 44 days actually. For the first stage, there will be eggs, and they need 3 days to hatching the eggs, and then they need 4 days later, to being a mini larvae. And then after stage of mini larvae, we give the organic waste gradually until 14 days, 10 until 14 days, and there will be a larvae, bigger and bigger and bigger. And the larvae phase, they will be eat the organic waste 24 hours a day until 2 weeks or 14 days. So that's very special. They never sleep in that phase. And then if we want to use the larvae for the feed, we can harvesting after 14 days. We can stop the process and we can harvest the fertilizer and larvae for our poultry or our fish. That's a very high valuable protein source. But if you want to continue the process, the larvae will become the pupae. The sign is the skin will be getting black, getting dark, and the skin also getting harder. And they will dormant or resting for another 2 weeks. We can say they're sleeping as well until they wait until the flies is come to their bodies. The fire will appear from their bodies, and the flies just about 7 until 9 days. And black soldier fly or the adult phase, their job is just to reproducing or mating, and they will produce the eggs. And the interesting one is the flies don't need food. The flies, like I said before, the flies don't have a mouth to bite, so they don't. Because of that, they don't need food to eat. So the energy for the mating or reproducing is come from the larvae phase. For before they already eat 24 hours a day for 2 weeks, and they keep the energy until the metamorphosis, until the next process, until they produce the egg. So from the pupae phase until the black soldier fly phase or until the adult phase, they don't need food anymore. So it's really interesting actually. And then what Biomag do in our facilities is to process. The first is organic waste treatment, and the second is BASF broodstock process. Because in our facility, there come organic waste every day, so we have to produce eggs every day also to processing organic waste. So I will explain about the what are we doing in our facilities. First, the raw material are transported to our facilities from various sources of waste, such as food industry, some offices, some residential. We pick up the organic waste. And actually, we already told them that please send just the organic waste only. But sometimes what we pick up is still mixing the waste with plastic, with bottle. So after the waste come to our facility, we resorting manually with our hand. After the sorting, we crush it into the small size, and then after we crush the organic waste, we mix it and then we give it into the waste bioconversion ponds or bioponds. And organic waste, we already give them the mini larvae of BASF. After about 10 or 14 days, we can harvest the larvae and the fertilizer with a sheaving machine. And then the products, it will be larvae and the fertilizer. We can use the larvae as a protein source of poultry and fish, and the fertilizer we can use for growing the vegetable and fruits. And like I said before, we can separate the larvae to continue the process to breeding. And the process, it will be, like I said before also, if we separate the larvae, we separate about 20% of them. And then we can wait until the skin become dark. and become harder until they get a pupae. After they become a pupae, we put into the BSF cage, and then we just have to wait until the flies is appear or come out from their bodies. And the activity from the flies is usually in the morning when the sun came up, about 10 or 9 a.m. or 10 in the morning, and they will mating and producing eggs. And in the afternoon, we hatching the eggs. We collect the eggs from the cage. And this process, it's pretty simple actually. So we already knew that the larvae is eating food waste, and this is the conversion rate after the processing. So we can imagine that if we put 100% of organic waste in at the end, we will get the 15 until 20% of BSF larvae. On the other hand, we also get 10% of fertilizer. But there will be also a residue. But don't worry, residue is only produced under the 1%. This residue is come from the organic waste that cannot be eaten by larvae. They cannot eat some organic waste cannot be eaten by larvae, which is like woods or the leaves or some organic waste that have a hard material like a high cellulose content. And the other 74% is water evaporation. As we know, organic waste is a lot of moisture content, and after 10 or 14 days, the water will be evaporated. So we can imagine if we have 100 kilograms of organic waste, at the end, we will get 15 until 20 kilograms of larvae and 10% of fertilizer. So in this concept, we can say that organic waste that produced by restaurant, by our residential or our store, it can be processed, it can be collected in the truck or in the car on the pickup, and then processing with black soldier fly method. And then the product we can give to the farmer. Well, they can producing the poultry, fish, fruit, vegetable, and then they will sell into a restaurant also, the store of the residential, and the cycle is really running. So we in Biomec introducing this to all of you and all of us in this area, because if we use this concept, we don't have to import food from other countries or from other area, because in our area we can get the base of organic from protein source or fertilizer from our organic waste that we produce. So we can give it to a farmer near our city, and we can get the new poultry, fish, vegetable, and fruit also in our market. So we don't have to depend from other cities or other province itself. And in Biomec, there will be some product that we produce. For example, frozen BSF larvae, and the prototype of floating fish pellet, and dried larvae also the fertilizer from the liquid and the solid organic waste. And our main product until now is dried larvae. And then we develop another product from the larvae. We extract, we process the larvae until it became a larvae meal. And that in the process, there will be a byproduct. The byproduct is larvae oil, because the larva itself, besides of the high protein content, they also have high oil content. And we use this oil larvae because if we don't use, they will become a new waste. So we starting to doing a small research actually. What can we do about this larvae oil? So we made some prototype to be a wound medicine for pets. And we can also make natural soap, and then aromatherapy, and then liquid soap for us. That derivative products from BASF larvae oil. And this is a new product. Actually, we have a collaboration with Almagot. As we know, in this pandemic, some of us may be working from our home, and our home getting more producing more organic waste in our home. So we providing a box that we can processing organic waste itself. So this is very useful for us. We don't have to throw the or giving the organic waste anymore. So we can processing by ourselves with this box. And this box now has very high demand actually, because the usefulness is very high. Maybe that's it for me. Maybe we can continue in the other discussion. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Pandu. Then before we continue to the second speaker, I would like to welcome Mr. Aminudi. He is a CEO PT Biomark that already joined with us, but maybe now he has been leave. But okay, let's continue to the second speaker, Mr. Ade Mulya. Hello, Mr. Ade Mulya.
Hello,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, the floor is
So
yours.
okay, I can share a screen, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the opportunity that given to me to speak in front of you. And this is a great honor for me, actually. And then I'm speak in front of you on behalf of Tani Hub Group. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ade Mulya. I'm head of corporate communication and government relations, Tani Hub Group. Maybe some of you are questioning why corporate communication and government relation is merged in Tani Hub Group. Just because a simple answer is because yes, technology and innovation are very important thing in our industry, in Tani Hub Group also. But government relations also very crucial to be managed and to be touched. So that's why government relation is important as important as the technology itself, because as we know that agricultural sector, if we are talking about agricultural sector, then we have to have strong collaboration with the government, because a government has everything, especially in agricultural sector. So let me open my presentation by telling a story about 4 young farmers that I have met in the last 2 years. This is my personal experience, actually. So first I met Kang Ujang. Kang Ujang is a young farmer in Cemenyan, Bandung, West Java, who has become a successful onion farmer. At a very young age, he was already leading a farmer group, starting from working on his father's land, and he then bought a hectare of land from the profits of onion farming. And then, fortunately, he right now become our partner in Tani Hub Group. And for him, according to him, marketing is the main crucial. Is the main problem of agriculture. He said that the farmer is confused. They can plant but cannot sell. Where to sell and at what price? That the crucial problem for agricultural sector, according to Kang Ujang. And this is what we call that lack of access to market. Yeah. So that's the first problem for the farmers. And secondly is Kang Tantan Sutrisno. He is a young farmer also. I met him at Lembang, Bandung. Tantan is a young husband actually who has been laid off from an automotive repair shop and finally decided to become a foster farmer. And for him, the beginning of being a farmer was not easy because he learned everything by himself because there is no assistance, there is no capital, and yeah, for him it's not easy. So now he is involved in growing broccoli, tomatoes, and other beverages. Then he said that the situation is when the quality of their product is very good, the price drops. So in the end, it is discarded or turned into animal feed. So even if the demand is high, sometimes the delivery location is so far away, and then that's another crucial problem in agricultural sector, which is packaging and also shipping. So the vegetables doesn't rot. And then, not to mention, he said that the middleman took the goods from them, but the payment was late. That's another problem, actually. So, unlike Tandan, let's take a look at another story from Egy Firmansyah. Egy Firmansyah actually owns a large area of land and was born into a wealthy farming family. And he grows various types of vegetables and also raises livestock. He applies the principle of zero waste management actually by making vegetables of poor quality for animal feed. But for him, the crucial problem in agricultural sector lies in human resources. He admitted that it was very difficult to find agricultural workers right now. Not to mention also the policy is also confusing for him. So another problem is human resources, marketing, access to market, and then access to capital, access to knowledge, and then right now, yeah, as you can see, we can see that another problem is raising human resources. And another young farmers, Dodi Darmawan. I also met him at Lembang, West Java. Dodi has a unique story. He has absolutely no land. What he and the farmer group he founded did is to find the information in supermarket and also markets about what is the market needs and how is the demand. Is it high? Is it low or what? And then after digging the information, he leased land and also planted commodities that were the target of the market. So he started from no land at all. That's the story of 4 young farmers that I can share with you. So these 4 young farmers has raised so many issues in agricultural sectors. As I mentioned before, like from access to capital, access to market, processing and packaging, supply chain, and also human resources. That's the problem of agricultural sector. So I also highlighted challenges that should be resolved by us, by everyone in Indonesia, to develop our agricultural sector. Several key challenges need to be addressed are first infrastructure, and then data and human capital. Yeah, infrastructure. Let's talk about infrastructure here. First, expensive logistic costs due to limited transportation option. Sea lines should be developed to reduce cost and time travel. And then second, lack of cold chain investment. This is so expensive. And overall national internet penetration is 64%. However, rural internet penetration is still at 28%, and farmland utilization for cultivation still less than 60%. So let's talk about the cold chain investment. Yeah, cold chain applications require that the availability of several spatial facilities, both in the storage and also in the distribution processes. In the storage process, it is necessary to have cold and freezing storage machines, while in the distribution process, it requires refrigerated transport fleet like carriers and then airplanes and also vehicles. So the food cold chain commodities can be classified and then into two categories based on the source of supply and the product's derivatives. First, for the source supply category, it can divide it into 5 sources, such as water-based for beverages, grains and paddy, dairy, and then animal protein, and fruit, also vegetable sources. So as you can see that the system, the supply chain system, the supply chain management for fresh products is totally different with another product. Okay, the supply chain management of the commodity and agricultural product business is different, as I said before, because first, agricultural commodities and products are perishable, fragile, and also have a short product life. And then second, the process of planting, growth, and harvesting depends on the climate and also the season. And yields have varying shapes and sizes, and also agricultural commodities and products are cages, thus the agricultural products are difficult to handle. So that the process of production, distribution, and storage requires spatial treatment such as refrigeration, specific packaging, and strict quality control. And maybe I will tell you that some processes requires cooling machines below 18 degrees Celsius for products such as meat, and for certain commodities in our warehouse, it need like 25 degrees Celsius below zero. I mean minus 25 until 28 degrees Celsius. It's so cold. So that's why I mentioned before that this infrastructure, cold chain investment, is very, very expensive. But if but somebody has to solve this problem, right? So Tani Hub Group come up with we try to solve this problem by building our infrastructure. And then the second one is data integration. Data integration, as we see that loans dispersed to the agriculture is only 6.98% of total bank loans, and credit assessment is the main factor. So I would like to say that unbankable farmers are a tough challenge in terms of credit scoring, and also, but this is precisely the opportunity actually for Tani Hub to solve this challenge by by offering Tani Fund for alternative financing. There are still many people, as we know that there are still many people who have not been touched at all by bank access. Even large-scale farmer groups who are already bankable are still facing problems like with capital. For example, sugarcane farmers with Kredit Usaha Rakyat, they are only limited to 2 hectares per family. If they want to expand their arable land, then he must or they have to looking for other financing alternatives. So access to capital is still problem until now. And then let's talk about the human resources or human capital. The fact is, farmer education profile is primary school 38.49%, junior high school 16.2%, and senior high school 8.54%. And while non-formal education reached majority 36.199%. And Indonesia's young farmers, 20 until 39 years old, all only comprised of 8% of the total 33.4 million farmers. And the average land ownership is only 0.2 hectares compared to Japan, South Korea, Philippines, and Thailand. We are nothing in terms of average land ownership. So regarding human resources, actually, research in 2015 showed that one of the factors that caused the younger generation to feel alienated from agriculture, because young people claim to know agriculture by self-taught. So talking about agriculture, in fact, must also talk about human resource development, talking about education and capacity building. So it is complicated things to be solved there. In previous slide, we know that capital, market, and supply chain, and right now, something that raises human capital and education. So, okay, yeah. The complexity of our agriculture does not stop there. I mean, given that our agriculture is highly fragmented, yeah, the length of supply chain can reduce the quality and quantity of products by half. As you can see here, 1 ton, and here in market it's reduced by half. And then, but unfortunately, this condition causing such high prices in the end consumers here. Maybe we can compare the price of the commodity and then the price in the market. So this condition create or drive some problems for the farmers. First, because the problem for farmers is geographically isolated location, far from commercial centers, and limited negotiation leverage on payment terms from agents and middlemen, limited access to capital, no access to data-driven inputs to enhance farming decisions. That's the problem in farmers. So what are the problems for buyers? This condition drive inconsistent supply, poor quality and lack of variety, and costly and time-consuming process to source from suppliers, and not equipped to manage logistic and fulfillment operations. So if we take a look at this slide closely, then we know that agricultural sector is still far away from comprehensive, effective, efficient, responsive, and finally sustainable. So it's still far away from that. Next slide. Okay. So what we, Tani Hub Group, do to solve all the complicated situation is enabling farmers and end customers through technology, enabling them easy access to market and fresh produce, as well as you see the slide, we create Tani Fund, a peer-to-peer lending platform to help farmers and merchants with capital. We give inputs, knowledge, and funding. What benefits for farmers? Okay, there's improvement quality of life through higher income and demand-based harvesting and access to market information, access to financial services and fair payment terms. And Tani Supply is supply chain backbone transporting produce for our customers. What we give for the ecosystem is processing solution and supply chain solution, because I mentioned earlier that yes, agricultural sector in Indonesia facing a very difficult situation if we are talking about processing and supply chain. And Tani Hub is Indonesia's leading B2B and B2C e-commerce platform to buy fresh produce and groceries. We do marketing and we do sales. And benefit for buyers, First is consistent supply, high quality and larger variety of produce, and convenience and time saving through fulfillment services, and value add marketing through social impact. So if you can see that this is the upstream and this is for the midstream and downstream. So with this kind of method also, we can also read the market. What does the market want? What is the demand? So we can convey this information to the farmers, educate them, and empowering them. And then right now, maybe I can explain this slide to you. First, Tani Fund give inputs, information, and funding. So we have machine learning based credit scoring, and then there is farmers and field officers apps. Later on, I will show you the apps, and investor fundraising platform web-based. In Tani Supply, we provide big data driven insight for our business, and also warehouse management system. In direct access to B2B and B2C market in Tani Hub, it is end-to-end commerce platform and SEO and social media analytics optimizations. Right now, 46,000 more farmers get direct access to the market with Tani Hub Group, and also 304 billion rupiahs P2P loan disbursement to our farmers, and then 20 to 25% increase in farmers' income after joining Tani Hub Group. So what we are trying to do right now is developing digital 4.0 acceleration by developing IoT and countries-based farm monitoring, and also data-driven warehouse and logistic management system, and also predictive supply-demand model. So hopefully we can manage and we can solve the problem in upstream by using this kind of technology and innovation. So next, this is the application I mentioned before. This is the application for the farmers. This is the application, the apps for our customer. Maybe you download it and you want to buy maybe carrots or maybe another vegetables from the application, because right now it's PPKM, so you can order via this application. So this is Tani Fund. Tani Fund is a web-based P2P lending. This is crop monitoring apps and lender website. You can also browsing on your internet right now, the www.tanifund.com, so you can see what kind of project right now that is still going on there. Okay, like I said earlier, when we talk about agriculture, actually we don't just talk about land, fertilizer, products, supply chain, but talk about human resource development. The key to sustainable agriculture is the farmer itself. So that's why we develop or we establish these two entities in Tani Hub Group, Tani Foundation, and also Tani Academy. It is affiliate foundation to resolve long-term intervention to improve farmers' welfare through capacity building, financial literacy, and infrastructure procurement. So we want to make sure that the 20% increase in income when joining Tani Hub Group actually make farmers experience increased welfare. So by educating them in financial literacy, and then investment, education, and so on. So the regeneration of farmers occurs. And then we believe that regardless of increase in income without education, financial literacy, prosperity will not be achieved. So we believe that we have to do something for the farmers, so the agricultural sector will be more sustainable. So it also drives our sustainability business, our sustainability for Tani Hub Group actually. So this is how it works. First, we will discuss with the farmer groups to conduct a feasibility study discussing about the capital plans and commodities are and how the quality is expected by consumers. And we also discuss about risk mitigation and so on. And the second, this one, we launched funding on our website, www.tanifund.com. Basically, we do fundraising where lenders can provide a minimum like 100,000 rupiahs. Usually only in a short time, the funding process is completed. And then the third process is after the funding process is complete, farmers then start working where Tanifund provide assistance in terms of planning and various efforts so that the quality produce is as expected by the customers. And then after the funding process is complete, farmers then start. And then yes, harvest time, and 100% of farmers' products are absorbed by our ecosystem. Tani Supply, as our supply chain backbone, will bring these products to the warehousing system that we have in across Java and Bali. Then we will distribute these products through our B2C apps as well as the B2B ecosystem and also exports. After that, the calculation of profit sharing for farmers and lenders. So this is the end of process. Yes, and then this is the information for you that we are currently only present in Java and Bali. But this year, it will soon be available in several regions, including Sumatra, Sulawesi, and Kalimantan. Hopefully, in the near future, we will be present throughout Indonesia. And then, yes, as I said before, that as I said at the beginning of presentation, apart from making various innovations and building a system based on digital technology, we are also working hand in hand closely with the government to build an export ecosystem with the Ministry of Trade, and then collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, collaboration with the Ministry of SMEs and LPDB, and also food cluster of BUMN, and also universities and another government entities. This is our events, and this is our motto that keep planting, keep growing. Yes, that's all from me. Thank you very much for the time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ade Mulya, for the presentation. And we are continue to the last speaker, Mr. Ruli Setia Purnama. Mr. Ruli?
Hi, Basil.
Are you there? Yeah, okay. The floor is yours.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, already.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank to the organizer of this webinar, online webinar, the vocational studies of IBB University, and I would like to greet other speakers, Mas Ade Mulya, Mas Pandu, Damai, and also the moderator and the attendees. Okay, I would like to share my experience about how I run my startups in aquaculture sectors. So the topic is about from university to the startups. Okay, sorry because I don't prepare the presentation in fully English, so I combine my presentation. So about the Industry 4.0, so Industry 4.0 from our perspective is the development of industry based on the human resource and digital innovation by involving the transdisciplinary knowledge of science, so we can create the new business model like a Tani Hub or Biomac, and which are more productive and efficient. And the most important thing is we need to have an impact in terms of economic, social, and also environment sustainability. Okay, and what is our role as the human resource? So the human resource in terms of Industry 4.0, we have two roles. First is as a innovator, or the second is as a users. Like we are maybe most of us is Gojek user or Tokopedia user, and some of us is maybe already registered as a Tiny Hub users or Minapol users. Okay, so for us that running the startup, so we need to have the mindset to become the problem solver, because this is the soft skill that we must need as a startup. Our people that are working in startup, because every day we are solving the problems. And for the digital transformations, we know right now the world is already connected by technology, but last we are connected by the pandemic. Most of us are connected by, we have a smartphone in our hand, and the technology right now that support to invent the new innovation is readily available. The startup companies, tech innovation are popping up right now. Availability of investor incubator and also accelerators, as well as machine learning and predictive analytics is already available. And this is the update about the fishery startup. We have together with other startup, with Tani Fund, Tani Hub, Mas Eka, e-fishery Jala, we initiate the ecosystem startup specifically for fisheries and aquaculture sector. So our member right now more than 20, almost 30 startups. And the first startup in fisheries sector is e-fishery, starting in 2013. So this is the innovation from the community, starting from auto feeder, fintech platform like crowdfunding platform like a Tiny Fund, Nanobubble. Nanobubble is an aeration system for shrimp and fish farming, portable pond, Internet of Things for fish farming, and then e-commerce. They are connecting fishermen or fish farmer to the buyers, the marketplace for us to supply the input product, and also water equality equipment, so we can generate the data from the Internet of Things. So this is the what do we need to have as a startup founder? First, we need to have willingness, of course. We need to have a willingness. We need to be brave, because a lot of tough and hard moment that we will face it during running our startup. We need to combine our hard skills and soft skills. And of course, it would be nice if we have experience in this industry and also the network, so we can it can be more useful for us to expand our business. And also we need the financial capability, but don't worry, because a lot of institutions right now supporting the startup ecosystem by providing the seed, pre-seed, or funding to start or expand the startup. So this is the three main components that startups should have usually. Hustler, we call it the golden triangle. First, the hustler. Hustler is people that who has a background in the business itself, like me. I have a background in the aquaculture sector, so we are working. We need to collaborate with other people from other backgrounds, from marketing communication, visual communication design as a designer or marketing, and then we also need a hacker. Usually, the background of hacker is coming from industrial engineering if the product is hardware, or software development or information technology if the product is a software, web or website or application. So the benefit of innovation itself, as I mentioned before, to create the business more effective and efficient, creating new business model and employment. And this is one of the most important is data driven decision, because in aquaculture sectors, if you want to start like a fish and shrimp farming, we need to hire experienced people because we need to depend on them, not depend on the data. So right now, many startups provide the new innovations, so we can get the data from the hardware, let's say from the auto feeder, from the water quality equipment that generate the data. So can our decision when we need to harvest, when we need to increase the feed is based on the data. And of course, this innovation can make the industry more scalable. And the last but not least this is one of the most important things is the regeneration of the industry stakeholders. Because if we depend only the experienced people, we cannot do regeneration as well. So now I would like to share about the Minapol itself. So we are the first Indonesian aquaculture marketplace focusing on input products. I believe most of us here love seafood. But did you know where do the most of seafood come from? So the answer is aquaculture. Aquaculture is one of the fastest growing industry in agriculture and food producing sectors. And this industry has a positive growth over the 40 to 50 years. So starting from 1970 is already growing positively. And Indonesia itself is the second largest aquaculture producers after China. We have more than 1.4 million people involved in this industry. And since we are working on aquaculture input products, the total market size is around $1.6 billion. But unfortunately, since I started my career in this industry 17 years ago, the access to input products such as feed, fry, probiotic, and other farm equipment are still challenging. Imagine if you are a fish farmer, fish or shrimp farmer, you need to contact so many suppliers. If you have their contacts, but you have not, because there's no platform available that can provide A to Z aquaculture daily needs until we deliver Minapoli. So we are connecting the fish and shrimp farmer with the input product supplier. Right now we are listing more than 1,100 SKU, which are coming from 90 partners. So the fish and shrimp farmer can get the most competitive price in the market just through one platform. And in addition, we also have Infomina, interactive media, to share information and knowledge in terms of technical aspect, market trends, technology, innovation related to the aquaculture. So our website, thanks to the God, our website is growing quite significantly during this pandemic, up to 8 times. Even the number of monthly visitors is still small compared to other e-commerce, only 50,000. But this already in the top 10 of most visited aquaculture website in the world. We're still younger than the most visited aquaculture website. The fishsite.com, their visitor is more than 100,000 a month, but they're already more than 15 years in this industry. So this is our sales traction. So we have been distributed input product to 74 cities in 24 provinces, and our month-over-month growth is 15 to 20%, and we are still bootstrapping. We are still bootstrapping, not like Tani Hub. They already raised, I think, Series B, Masade. Okay, this is our partner, starting from local company until the global company, a well-known or reputable company in aquaculture industry like Java, Cargill, Inve, Growbase, and as I mentioned before, we have more than 90 partners. And during the pandemic, we also created some initiative. First is Bincamina. Bincamina is a online webinar to share about the update about the aquaculture industry, sharing about the technology, new innovation with other stakeholders. And we also have, I think this is the first podcast in aquaculture industry. So we are discussing with the key person in aquaculture industry, young and senior persons who are coming from different backgrounds. From even we have Cyril Sanavia, an artist that running what do you call it? Cupang is ornamental fish business. And yeah, we also released the bulletin and newsletter through email marketing and also through social media. And this is what is the one of the bottleneck in this industry is the availability of talent, human resources. So we initiate to create this program to become one of the solutions in terms of human resource. So we are connecting job seeker or university graduates to our partners. And this is our vision. Our vision is we want to become the largest aquaculture network in Asia Pacific, since we know that more than 95% farmers in the world are in Asia. So this is the roadmap how to execute. Yeah, this is from our perspective. So in the university, you can get hard skill and soft skill, and if you feel your soft skill is not enough, you can get from the other support institution, or you can join organization or organize some events, so you can learn how to improve your soft skills. And as I mentioned before, that to solve the problem in one sector, we need to collaborate with other people who has a different background. Yeah, from the like Mas Adi, from the marketing communication, from the biotechnology, from the industrial engineering. So we can solve the problem starting from the ideation. If you feel if you can go to the incubators to validate your idea, so you can create a concept and building the prototype, either it's a software or hardware. So if you already build the prototype, I think it should be you can using that research as your final report, or thesis, And if you want to scale up your innovation, you need to find you need to follow accelerator or investor, so you can scale up your innovation. And the most important thing is you need to let the industry stakeholder using your innovation. Yeah, this is to validate your innovation is really useful, or you still need to improve your innovations. Okay, and this is my message to the attendees. Yeah, we need to enjoy our journey. I started my career in one of the small island in Riau Islands. Is inhibited. No people live there, and no fresh water, no electricity, no cellular network for the first 6 months. It's really tough working in aquaculture, but it's really challenging, but it's really interesting. So this is the take-home message. We need to be grateful to whatever we have, and we need to take advantage of what we have. We have health, we have a friend, we have a network, we have knowledge, we have the financial capability. We need to use all those advantages. And if you want to create a business, of course, you need to expand your network. Starting from now, starting from the university, your friend, your senior, your junior, your lecturer, and other industry people. And of course, we need to find. You need to think in 360 degree, which means if you want to create the new innovation, you need to imagine yourself as in the other side, as a user of that innovation. Of course, we need to focus on problem solving and start small, move fast, and from now. That's it. Thank you so much. Selamat sore.
Okay, thank you so much for all speakers. That's a wonderful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the discussion season. You can ask anything by click the raise hand symbol on your screen, so you can ask directly to our speakers, or you can type in the chat box. But I have several questions from the participants. I will read the one question from Zui. This question addressed to Mr. Pandu. Okay. Are there clear classification system for organic and non-organic waste in Indonesia? And do people there separate recyclables and non-recyclables trash bins? Then I think it will be easier to do the process like biomass. Mr. Pandu?
Okay. Thank you for the question. It's a very interesting question for Zui. Thank you very much. In Indonesia, actually there is not yet. I think the rules is we still have found that some people still collect the waste in mix. I want to share a funny story about 10 years ago in my campus. Actually, in my campus they already separate the garbage bin for the organic garbage and unorganic garbage, burnable and non-burnable garbage, and there also an explanation which garbage is organic, which garbage is non-organic, and there is explanation, and we learn from that, and we starting to separate the garbage. But after we throw our waste to that garbage, after that I see the college, the truck collecting the garbage, and they mix again the waste from that garbage can. So what's wrong with that? It's maybe not just the society itself, but maybe the system. It's still not finished for processing the waste. From Indonesia, we're starting aware from our environment. Maybe from us, maybe 5 or 10 years from ago, we start concerned about our environment and what we have to separate our waste in our home, in our office maybe, and we still have homework to processing that waste until finish, not just separating in our place. Maybe some local government have to involve until the process is finished. As we know, from non-organic waste, such as box, such as PET bottles, we can collect them and we can sell it until we have income from that waste actually. And some of community doing that, maybe concept of bank sampah or waste bank. They can collect some of unorganic waste, which is still valuable and still have a value in that, and they sell it from their profit. So that kind of movement we have to support, so we can be easier to processing our waste. And honestly, in Indonesia, maybe we have to force by law, I think, to separate it very well. I think maybe for you who stay outside Indonesia, you can share how you can manage your organic waste.
Okay, Zoe, are you there? Maybe you can give a comment or sharing, or we can next to the next question. We have one participant that raised hand. Okay, Mr. Muhammad Fatir. Committee, please allow Muhammad Fatir to open his mic. Mr. Muhammad Fatir.
Okay, Miss Sylvia and other speakers, is my voice sounds clear? Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Actually, I have 2 questions for Mr. Pandu Damai and Mr. Ade Mulya. First, for Mr. Pandu Pandu Damai, maybe it's a technical question. If you don't mind, I want to ask about after the decomposing phase. If the fertilizer is not yet ready, BSF will be added again. The larva of BSF will be added again, or just the BSF that will be bred, or the BSF that first we apply, and we just wait it for pupa phase. And the second, for Mr. Ademulia, I want to ask about is the Tani Farm control the market? How to control the market price from Tani Hub, especially in the harvesting time, as we know that in the harvesting time, the production rate is increasing, so the price is going low. Maybe that's all for me. That's the question for me. Thank you for the fantastic opportunity to ask directly to speakers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad Fatir. You have two questions. The question addressed to Mr. Ademulia and Mr. Pandu. Okay, let's answer for the first question, Mr. Pandu, I think.
Okay, thank you for the question, Muhammad Fatir. It's really a technical question, and my answer is, after the BSF larvae eating the organic waste, they also produce a byproduct as a fertilizer. And after we can separate the larvae in the fertilizer, sometimes the fertilizer still have a high moisture content. Before we apply to a land like we want to growing fruit or vegetable, we have to wait maybe around 1 week or 10 days until the moisture content is shrinking and until it's become a dry. After you analyze this, maybe the moisture content maybe 14 or under 20. So if we collect the fertilizer from the biopond, maybe you have to wait maximum until 2 weeks. So you can apply it to the farm, and then from the larvae, it's not directly become a dark and become a pupae. So it's slowly changing the color of the skin. From the yellow color, it is changing until the brown. It became a brown, and they starting to slowing the movement. So after they are very active, they start to stop eating, and the skin starting changing little by little, and from the yellow, brown, and become a black. And after the pupae phase, the skin will be hard, and they need to dormant phase, and they need to rest about 2 weeks until the fly will be pop out or become out from their body itself. So if you want to processing from larvae to pupae, you just have to wait until it become automatically become color changing. If you want to ask more about technique, you can ask again actually.
How about that, Fatir? Muhammad Fatir?
Okay, Mr. Barnadamai, I think I got some point from your answer. It's clear for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
and then for the second question, Mr. Ademulia, how about the control market?
Okay, thank you very much. As we live at democracy system, we cannot control the market, but here is the model. Here's the business model in Tani Hub. First, we discuss the price from the start with the Tani Fund partner. As you know that Tani Hub Group have Tani Fund, and Tani Fund, they have a lot of partners, farmers partner, and then before cultivation, we discuss the price from the start, and then the price has been agreed before they cultivate. And then and during volatile times such as Ramadan or Idul Fitri, we are promote a lot that during fertile times, our prices are relatively more stable and relatively available in terms of commodities, because we build an ecosystem from upstream to downstream, so that there is no middleman interventions in that. So it is, and this is what the future of agriculture should be, because price do not fluctuate, as the digital ecosystem is supposed to address this issue. So the thing is, right now, the agricultural system in Tani Hub, yeah, someone said that only 2% from the total of agricultural sector in Indonesia. It's still small, so that's why we are trying to be bigger, and we do not try to control the price, but we try to make it more stable and more available. So yeah, as you can see, maybe in the future, like Christmas season or Ramadan or Idul Fitri season, our prices remain relatively stable and available, because yes, we have this ecosystem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ade. How about the answer, Mr. Muhammad Fatir?
Okay, Miss. Thank you for Mr. Ade for explanation. Maybe that's all for me.
Okay. So we have also one participant again, raise hand. Mrs. Nurul Masita. Mrs. Nurul Masita,
Yes,
are you there? Yeah, okay.
Before that, is my voice clear, Miss?
Yes, clear.
Okay, thanks before for this great opportunity, and I also want to thanks to all the speakers that have been explained the material greatly. My questions for the first is for Mr. Pandu. Is there a measure of how much water content in the waste when we can give for the bioconversion process with maggot? If it's to flex it, how to reduce it? Because we know that organic waste mostly contains water, which make it sometimes to flex it. And my second question is for Mr. Ademulya. What studies model that have been applied to reach out the traditional farmers in corner village, especially to be able to participate in producing their agricultural products to be directly traded at Tani Hub? And my it's clear, Mr.
Yeah,
Ademulya?
please. You have two questions or you have another question?
Okay, my last question is for Mr. Ruli. As we know, the era progress have made more and more new startup appear in various fields. One of them is aquaculture. My question is, how is monopoly strategy to continue and keep access in the mid of the appearance of this new startup? That's all.
Sorry,
thank you.
Nurul, can you repeat
Yes?
the question
Okay.
again? For
Okay.
the question, especially for me.
Okay. My question is, what studies model that have been applied to reach traditional farmers, especially in village, to be able to participate in Tani Hub trading? That's Mr.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And okay, the third question, can you repeat again for Mr. Ruli?
Okay. My third question is, as we know, the era make more and more new startup appear in various fields. One of them is aquaculture. My question is, how is monopoly strategy to continue and keep access in the mid of the appearance of this new startup?
Okay, thank you, Nurul Masita. She has two questions. I think for the first question addressed to Mr. Pandu.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nurul. For the moisture content of organic waste, you asked how much, what if the moisture content is too much from the organic waste? So the suitable moisture content for the growing BSF larvae is about 70 or 80%. And if in that day, if we're receiving a lot of vegetable or fruits that contain a lot of water and moisture content, we can adding some some coconut pulp. As you know, when we go to traditional market and we want to buy some coconut milk, the producer will press the coconut until we get the coconut milk, and the byproduct is coconut pulp. So we can put the coconut pulp, or in Indonesia ampas kelapa, or a rice bran, or in Indonesian dedak. That rice bran and coconut pulp we can adding into the our organic waste to absorb the moisture content that already in the organic waste, because the BSF larva is not really like if their media or they place it's too much water in that media. So we have to control them with rice bran or coconut pulp if that day we receive a lot of moisture content in our organic waste. Thank you.
Okay. How about the answer, Mrs. Nurul Masita?
Okay, I think I got the point.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the second question addressed to Mr. Ademulya about the studies model to reach the farmer in village to participate the Tani Hub.
Okay, thank you very much, Nurul. Actually, there is no special research or study or model, yeah, when we want to invite farmers in the village to our ecosystem. We only mobilized our agronomists to approach the farmers, and we invite them to join with our ecosystem. But if university friends like you, Nurul, or maybe your friends who want to do a study for this kind of thing, yeah, we are very open, and we also work with Dikti for the program we call Campus Merdeka. So yes, maybe if you want to have a specific study about the farmers' behavior and how to do a market research about the farmers and everything, we are really open to maybe you can do research in our ecosystem.
Okay, how about the answer, Nurul Masita?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ade.
And then the last question from Nurul Masita addressed to Mr. Ruli about the Monopoly strategy to cook eggs.
Okay, thank you, Nurul Masita, for the question. It's such a good question. If I understand well, that you are asking about how the strategy of Monopoly to be survived in terms of startup competition, right? Okay, for us first we need to be focused, becoming a problem solver. Keep improve how do we solve the problem in this industry, starting from technical, whatever that we can be, can provide solutions. And yeah, we need to fully utilize whatever we have. For us, our unfair advantage is the network. Since we built the network since 17 years ago, so it takes time for other competitors to compete with us. Because the network in this industry is quite unique. It's not only about the contact or the email of the person, but you need to build the relationship. You need to maintain the relationship with the industry stakeholders. That's our strategy.
Okay, Mrs. Nurul Masita.
Okay, it's so clear. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ruli.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question, to address Mr. Ademulya, I read from my chat box. Okay, from Yusuf Suryanto from IPB University. How to reach out to farmer in the village to able to cooperate with the farmer Hub Group as a supplier in order to help the development of Indonesian agriculture from the upstream system? Does the Tani Hub Group build a kind of chain of cooperation to local farmers in coastal areas? Thank you. Mr. Ade.
Okay, thank you for the question. First of all, we do several business model. First, we have a partner for farmers for Tani Fund, and second, we do off taker. We buy the farmers' produce to our ecosystem. So I don't know the question whether is it for Tani Fund partner or maybe for off-taking business model. But for off-taking business model, like maybe I can tell you a story, an example. My friend have rice field, and he has organic rice produce, and he asked me whether Tani Hub can off-taking or not. So I communicate this to my trade procurement, and then our team do a survey, and then we do a off-taking process to the farmers directly. But then for being a Tani Fund partner, you can also maybe try to reach us with by website, or maybe to our email. So there will be our team to do a survey, to do a feasibility study to the farmers. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you. And then maybe Mr. Ademulya, there are questions from Sylvie, not me, but the participant names.
Another Sylvie.
Yeah, another Sylvie. Okay, I will read in the chat box. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pandu and Mr. Ademulya. My name is Sylvie. I have question to Mr. Ademulya. Last year, I have small research about agriculture supply chain in, and like what you say now, in Indonesia, agriculture supply chain have long step, and in the end, farmers got the less profit. I have always want to know how to shorten the agriculture supply chain so the farmers can get more profit, and you have the answer. But I'm curious how you tell the farmers that Tani Hub is the best way they can sell their crops, because as we know that farmers always want get fresh money. And also more than 50% farmers in Indonesia is not young generation, maybe the parents. How you can handle it, because not every old generation using smartphone. I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, because that's good. The question, yeah, Mr. Ademulya. How the bargaining?
Yes. The question about the question is about supply chain, right?
Yeah,
Can okay, I can read this on the chat box.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, maybe it's about the
Can you repeat it
bargaining
again?
to farmers.
Sorry.
The bargaining to the farmers, because most of the farmers in Indonesia old generation, and they want old fresh money. So how the way the Tani Hub to bargaining to the farmers to join with us, to join to the Tani Hub?
It is easy because they need a capital actually. Yes, we deal with a lot of farmers, old farmers, and we sometimes that they don't have bankable documents. So that's why we provide Tani Fund for them, because you don't have to have donors and with sophisticated systems, sophisticated procedures that always has. But Tani Fund provide the funding, the financing. So that's why this is the business model. So we exist to solve that problem. So actually, it is not depends on the age, yeah, because the old farmers also they need capital, they need to expand their business. So so far we don't have any issues for that kind of age problem, yeah, because they need capital, they need to expand the business.
Okay. Okay, so the tiny hub doesn't have issue about that. Okay, it's clear. For the next question, from Dandi Dharma. Yeah, from Dandi Dharma, this question addressed to Mr. Ademoli again about the tiny hub, because I really enthusiastic with the tiny hub. My questions are: what are the difficult steps to grow this community, and is there a mission that has not been achieved by tiny hub from the 2016 until now?
Okay. Thank you for being so enthusiastic about Tani Hub. Dharma, yeah, the name is Dharma, right?
Yes.
Okay. First, the difficulty, as I mentioned earlier, is that Indonesian agricultural sector is very, very fragmented. They are still very individual with a small business scale. So apart from taking their produce, we are also struggling to increase their business scale by encouraging farmers to become farmer groups and having legal entities. So that's we hope that the scale of business is being bigger. And then secondly is yes, education. That's why we provide assistance for financial literacy and etc. So that their claim yield increased by 20% after joining Tani Hub. It really affects farmers' savings. So as to produce a new generation of prosperous farmers, yeah, it is very important for us in terms of business sustainability. And then another difficulty is that investment in this field is very expensive. So we really have to invite all of stakeholders in Indonesia to work together to build a good agricultural supply chain ecosystem. That's difficulties that we face, that we have to be solved. Yeah, and for the about the mission, yeah, that has not been achieved by Tani Hub. Okay, our mission is agriculture for everyone. Of course, there is still a lot of homework. Yeah. Among other things, we really want to reach all farmers throughout Indonesia, but COVID-19 makes our movement and expansion have to be reduced. But we also want to be closer to almost all villages and sub districts in the future by collaborating with various stakeholders. But don't worry, in this year, we try to getting closer to the farmers in Kalimantan and Sumatra and also Sulawesi. And then next, we also have a plan to develop on-farm technology. Thank you.
Okay.
Hopefully it answered their question.
Okay, I will invite Mr. Dandi Dharma. Hello.
Yes, Miss.
Have
Hello,
you
Miss.
got comment or feedback?
Yeah, I got a point from Mr. Ademulya. It's okay. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, for the next question, from the maybe I will invite Mr. Priya Sembada to ask directly to the speaker.
Okay, thank you, Bu Sylvia. So actually, I have some questions to Mr. Ademulya and Mr. Pandu. Yeah. For the first question for Mr. Pandu, in the time of pandemic, I'm sure you face some difficulties, of course, to collect the organic waste. Because, most of your organic waste coming from Horeca, and then how you can deal with this situation? This is the first question, and the second one, the idea of biomech is really interesting, and I'm curious how you can attract communities to do the same like you did to minimize the problem of waste in Indonesia. And for Mr. Ade Mulia, yeah, I think the question already asked before about how to attract the farmers to join Tani Hub. But another question is actually is there any special contract price for farmers who are already partners with Tani Hub? Because yeah, as you said that we have some fluctuative price, yeah, in particular when we are in Ramadan or Idul Fitri or Christmas or etc. Thank you, Bu Sylvia.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Mr. Priya. Let's answer for the speaker, maybe. Mr. Ade first.
I guess the first question is to Mr. Pandu, right?
Mr. Pandu, Mr. Pandu and Mr. Ruli.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Sylvia and Mr. Priya. That's really good question actually. Indonesia about last year in March, I think. In that time, we have a client from catering company and some building that every week there is a wedding ceremony in there. And after pandemic hit in March, they stopped producing the food, and then we cannot get the raw material from them, and that's a problem at the first time. But we think that we still can get the organic waste, and because in that time there is a lot of company that requiring the employee and the employee work from their home, so we attract the target to the residential. So after that we introduce our concept to the residential. For example, in Tanjung Barat in South Jakarta, there is a residential named Tanjung Barat Indah. We introduce our concept in their residence, and they interested to processing their own food in their complex. And after they gain aware about the environment and their organic waste, so they starting to knock door one by one to educate, to introduce how to separate waste very well, and then they can collect, and then they can process it. And we have some like understanding, and then they can send the waste from the residential to our facility. So after that case, we of course we're doing a pivot, changing a little bit a model business. The first time we targeting the food industry, restaurants and hotel to get a new raw material. But because the pandemic, we spread the models, and we also targeting the residential area. At the first time, it's not easy to educate, to introducing our concept, to make them separate their waste. But by the time they understand, they know how important to separate their waste. So after that, until now, exactly, they continue to send the organic waste to our facilities. And it also answers the second question. we gradually continue to introduce our concept by a training at least once a month. Before pandemic, we get training offline. We invite them to our facilities, but because of the pandemic, we do it online. And with the health protocol now, some of them maybe can get we can come to our facility also by looking directly how organic waste is processing by BASF larvae. And we also have a campaign and with some companies that how important we keep the environmental very friendly for us and keep the environmental clean. And this campaign have some we can say a community to join our campaign that they can actually get something from separating their waste and processing their waste. So so we launched our new product like in the previous presentation. One of them is Mago Box. It's answering their question about how we can processing our waste, food waste in our home. So we provide the facilities so they don't have to go anywhere to processing their food waste. They can process their food waste in their home only, and they don't have to get out to somewhere to maybe giving food waste to someone else. And if they're interesting to aquaculture, maybe they can have a catfish, or if they have some land in their home, maybe they can breeding the chicken or poultry. So the BASF larvae that they produce is very useful for feed and fertilizer. And that's maybe the answer, Mr. Priya.
How about the answer, Mr. Priya?
Okay, thank you, Pak Pandu.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Priya, and thank you, Mr. Pandu. And we have question from Anis Kusayirya. This question.
I think I have the answer for the second question from Mr.
Yeah, from
Priya. Yeah, Priya Sambada. He has a question also for me, actually, or what? Or we continue? Or?
Do you have any question, Mr. Priya?
Yeah, actually, I asked Pak Ade also, Mbak Sylvia, about
okay, sorry.
about the contract price and also about how to attract farmers, because like fluctuative price, maybe when the price is very low, the contract price will be good for the farmers, but actually for the high price, the situation when we have a high price, it will be very difficult for the farmers. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The answer is the farmers in Indonesia also, opportunists. Yeah, some of them are opportunists because they're waiting for the price is going high, but then there's the real situation, the price is dropped, so they draw out the produce to be animal feed. Yeah, the farmers in Indonesia is quite opportunist, so that's why in Tani Fund we try to have a farmer contract to have like a fixed price. It is not too high, it is not too low, but it is, yes, it is beneficial for the farmers and the family. But actually there are two models we get, how we get the product. First, being off taker, meaning we just buy. Maybe like you have your own produce and you have a harvest time, and then we buy from you, and then we bring the produce to our ecosystem, and we distribute it to the B2C and B2B consumer. But that's we are talking about off-taker, being off-taker. We are just buy. One more thing, we do financing with Tani Fund from the beginning. So first, we are being off-taker, and second, we do financing with Tani Fund from the beginning. Depending on whether you want to be a partner in Tani Fund or just selling off. For Tani Fund, yes, we will have a special contract, farmers contract that contains various kind of risk mitigation. So, but if you want to sell, you also have a only sell. Yeah, we as off-taker, it is also have a contract, but it is a purchasing contract. So, and then how we stabilize the farmers produce, how we stabilize the price. We also collaborate with BUMN or COEs, SOEs for food stability. We do cross-selling with Bulog, we do cross-selling with PGR, we do cross-selling with RNI. So in terms of price, we try to stabilize the market, but then we cannot control the market. So yes, hopefully it answered the question.
How about the answer, Ms. Arpia?
Yes, thank you very much, Pak Ade, for your answers.
Okay, and we move to the next question from the Anis Kusayira. Maybe I will invite Mrs. Anis to ask directly to the speaker. Actually, this question addressed to Mr. Ruli. Mrs. Anis Kusayira, are you connected?
Hello.
Okay.
Thank you for all the speakers for amazing presentation. I want to ask to Mr. Ruli. As we know, aquaculture product is very subtle and must always be fresh. How does Minapoli ensure that every product still in good quality when it product reach the consumer? Thank you.
Yeah. Mr.
Okay. Thank you, Banis, for the question. So, unfortunately, Minapoli right now only working for upstream segment, only input product, not for the downstream. So we are not the off-taker for the fish or shrimp farmer. But so most of our product is non-fresh or non-live product. But we have some product that we need to take care the cold chains. The cold chains like live feed, like algae for fish or shrimp hatchery. So usually this is the same principle. If you want to maintain the products, we need to build the cold chain system. Yeah, we need to build the cold chain system. If a simple product, we can only use the ice cube or dry ice in our packaging. But let's say if you want to transport the fish from the farmers to the customer or to the processing plant, we need to have use ice, flake ice. Yeah, we need to put the fish and ice together, layer per layer, upside down. Let's say ice, fish, and then put in the box, and then we need to put in the we call it Thermo King. Truck that equipped by the freezing equipment, or if you want to export the products, as we need to use the river container. Usually they can maintain the cold chain system up to minus 18 and sometimes to minus 25. So we need to focus on how to build the cold chain system. I think that's it.
Okay, Mrs. Anis, how about the answer?
I think I get the point from Mr. Ruli. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Ruli.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question from the Clarissa. She is from Iloilo, Philippines. So I will invite Clarissa to ask directly to Mr. Ade. Clarissa, are you connected?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah, could you open your camera?
I'm sorry, I can't open, miss. It's raining and the connection is poor.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can ask directly
Yeah.
to Mr. Ade.
Yeah, thank you to all the speakers. I am Clarissa from Iloilo, Philippines. My question is for Mr. Adi. Tani Hub is great. In joining Tani Hub, what are the advantages and disadvantages that people can get, and also your company in dealing farmers? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ade.
Okay, thank you. I can speak Filipino language a little bit like salamat po,
Oh,
mabuhay.
yeah.
Only that words. Thank you very much
Uh,
for joining this conversation.
thank
Thank you, Clarissa. What is benefit we'll get by the farmers? I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier on my slide that the farmers can get improved quality of life through higher income because our third party has already measured that the income of the farmers is increased by 20 until 25% because they're joining our ecosystem. We do collaboration with the what we call yeah such a consultant third parties to measure it because we do not want to be self-claimed. Yeah, so that's first improve quality of life through higher income. 20 25 increase percent in income, and demand-based harvesting and access to market information. That's the crucial thing for the farmers because some of the farmers they don't know exactly what the market needs right now. All they know is like cultivating the rice, the paddy, and also the ubi, and what we call ubi in like potatoes, but they do not know what is the demand right now. So in this kind of COVID-19 era, when people trying to do social distancing, the biggest five commodities that become favorite in Tani Hub is rice, and then dragon fruit, and also chicken, eggs, and red ginger. So based on this kind of market intelligence, based on this data, we also inform to our farmers that let's do the cultivation for that kind of commodities that that needed by the market right now. So demand-based harvesting, and then access to financial services and fair payment terms. Because if you have like 100,000 rupiah, it is like yeah, it's quite cheap, and you can join the peer-to-peer lending, and then after the project is done, the fundraising is done, and then the project will be started, and then the payment terms is really fair because sometimes we have to deal with the smallholders farmers that they have the account receivable by the other parties, and then we try to give the loan, because so that's the their financial or their cash flow will be good. Sometimes we do that in Tani with Tani Fund system. So that's the three benefits for farmers, and also the farmers in Indonesia, they cannot they don't have an access or information how to process, how to package their produce. So that's why Tani Supply, we have the technology, so you don't have to think about it. We can take your produce to our ecosystem, to our warehousing, so we can do the processing, and we do packaging, and we distribute it. We distribute the produce. That's the benefit for the farmers. And then we have also Tani Foundation. We try to have capacity building, like educate them how to have like a financial report, how to have a financial plan, how to have bank account, so that they can be bankable farmers. We do a lot of things for the farmers to gain the sustainability of the industry itself. Clarissa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, Clarissa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ade. I will invite one of the lecturer from the Tarlac Agriculture University, Mr. Mark. Are you there, Mr. Mark? Maybe Komita allow the Mr. Mark microphone to sharing or give a comment about this discussion. Mr. Mark Sutero. Okay, I didn't find Mr. Mark Sutero in the participants. So we continue to the next question in the chat box from the Fakita Savana Mumtaz. Thank you for the amazing presentation to the all speakers. My name is Fakita from IPB University. I have question for Mr. Pandu. Can you date BSF is still useful to agriculture, or any benefit that we can get from the date BSF? BSF, it means maggot, is it right?
Yes. Okay, thank you for the question, Miss Fakita. This is a little bit technical question. For the dead flies, some of the from area, they use dead flies for the catfish feed. Sometimes they also use for duck feed, for poultry feed. Some of them also use for a fertilizer. In Biomech, we use dead flies for the attractant in the fly cage. We put the dead flies into attractant inside the media to attract the flies for laying their eggs in the place that we have prepared. So when you know how to cultivate the BSF is really sensitive with the smells, and we have to attract them with the strong smells, and the dead flies can produce that strong smell. So we can put the dead flies into a box, and we can mix with the organic waste also. We choose the strong smell from organic waste, and we can use that media for the attractant of the flies. I hope that's answer your question, Ms. Fakita.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pandu. But you have one question again from Warren Palma. Oh yeah. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, Mr. Pandu Damai. Biomech is really amazing. This is the question. In collecting the organic waste in this pandemic, are there any problems being encountered by the Biomech? What are the basic protocols you are following to avoid getting infected by the virus? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. The Biomech company we are in this pandemic. Government already separate some sectors of the companies. As you know, the government separate as critical sector, essential and non-essential sectors, and Biomech put in the critical sectors. Why? Because we we collect the organic waste that produced by the food industries. So we're still running every day to collect the organic waste, and government allow us to do that. And for the protocols, we're very thankful. Until now, we not affecting yet all of Biomex member for the COVID-19. And we always following protocol that we take the organic waste with meet no one in the pickup place. So the protocol is the producers of the organic waste put the organic waste inside the drum or the bin, and we close the drum and we lock it, and they live there until we pick up the drum. So we put the drum on our truck, and we already closed it, and we transport it in the closed system. So even the smell is not come out from the waste, and they can transport it safely into our facility, and also our members protected by gloves or masks or suitable shirt that can work easily to pick up the waste. So I don't think I don't know. Maybe I not found the connection between the virus and the organic waste. Maybe if you know, you can share. But until now, the coronavirus not spread with the organic waste with organic waste. So until more than 1 year, we follow that protocol, and it's going to be fine until now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pandu.
Thank you, Mr. Warren Palma.
Okay, and the next question, I will invite one of the participants, lecturer from IPB, Mrs. Dian Eka. Mrs. Dian.
Oh yeah, hello, Miss Sylvia.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me, and thank you for the speakers with amazing presentation. Actually, I have one question for Mr. Ruli from Minapoli. Hello, Mr. Ruli. As previously explained, Minapoli is a marketplace that provides various platforms to develop business. And I see there are several companies that provide products for fish farming needs. And in your opinion, as a digital marketing business actor, aquaculture products, especially fish meat, have a high risk of being easily damaged and smells fishy, I think. And so how do we want to market this aquaculture product through digital marketing? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Dian, for the question.
Thank you, Mbak Dian. I think you have two questions. First, about how to sell product through digital platform, and secondly about the fish meal. Is it right?
About how do we want to market the aquaculture product? I think the fish meat. Yeah, that's right. With a digital marketing.
Okay. Okay. So I think we need to know who are our customers. So our customer is fish and shrimp farmers. So we need to get closer with them, with the community, the farmer community, with the stakeholder community. So beside the Minapoli, I also involved in some organization that related to this aquaculture industry, Indonesian Aquaculture Society. So we can get updates about the industry conditions. So we know how to penetrate, how to introduce, what kind of problem that we need to find the solutions. Yeah, I think first, we need to do, because we are working on digital platform, we need to do digital marketing as well. So through the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and also through our online event with online webinar. So basically we would like to engage with our customer. So we engage with them through the event, through the other occasions, so we can introduce our product or our solution to the community.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Dian. And I will invite again Mrs. Tera. She is also the lecturer from SV-IPB University. Mrs. Tera? Mrs. Tera, are you connected? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Miss Sylvie. I want to ask to Mr. Pandu. I have read about the use of mealworm or ulat Hong Kong as a substitute for meat bone meal in broiler chicken, and from this result, it was concluded that the older of the mealworm use, the higher of the chitin content. What I want to ask is how about the nutritional content of BSF larva, especially is in the chitin content, and can it only 14 days old larva used for livestock, or can we use this under 14 days old? Okay, thank you, Ms. Sylvie.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Tera.
Okay, thank you for the question. And BSF larva itself, in the larva phase, they have a high content of protein and oil. So because of the protein content, a lot of farmers use the larvae for the fish feed and poultry field. And the chitin content is have much in the pupae phase, not in larva phase. After the like in the presentation before, after 14 days, larva becoming dark and becoming a pupae, and the skin is getting harder. And we already analyzed the skin of the pupae, and they also have the chitin content. And we already extract the chitin, and maybe they have around 80%, about something around 80% of chitin content. And to do that, to process the derivative products for the medical, for example, they have to reach about 19 or 95 content of the protein. So we can still use the chitin from the BSF, but not for the medical or food grade. But they still have chitin content in their skin of the pupae stage.
Mrs. Tera, how about the answer? Mrs. Tera? Okay, I think I lost the signal maybe. Okay. Oh, okay.
How about the under 14 days old larva? Can we use it for feed, or just after 14 days old?
Yes. Okay. Actually, before we reach the 14 days, we can use also for the feed. In fact, that the younger the larvae, the higher the protein. I mean that if they still 5 days old, 7 days old, 8 years old, 8 days old, maybe until 10, about 10, they have higher protein content, higher protein content than the 14 days old one, because as you know, the protein and the oil content, the younger larvae they have high protein content, and after 14 days the oil content is raising, and the protein is a little bit shrinking, but still high. But if you compare it to the younger larvae have more protein than the older larvae. So you can still use the larvae even it's still small. If you look the apparently it's still small. So some research use the baby larvae for the fish and for the chicken also.
Mrs. Tara, how about the answer? Is it clear?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pandu, for the
Thank you very
information.
much.
Okay, maybe one last question from Mrs. Widya. I will invite Mrs. Widya to ask directly to the speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Sylvia. Good evening, good day, everyone. I'm Widya Sian. I have a question for Mr. Adil from Tani Hub. I'm curious about the Tani Academy, and could you more elaborate about it and how we can strengthen the collaboration between university and Tani Hub about this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vidya. Where are you come from? IPB or?
Yes, I'm a lecturer of College of Vocational School.
Okay, thank you very much, Vidya. IPB and Tani Hub is really close. I mean, we have collaboration in micro credential program, I guess. Yeah, like it is Kedai Reka and Kampus Merdeka, something like that. Yeah, but we have already have an MOU with IPB, and also we have a collaboration in micro credential. And Tani Academy is one entity that you know, that we create to have you know, to strengthen the capacity building to campus, to you know, to universities and to people. And then if you are interested in collaboration with the Tani Academy, I think it is really open for us. And then one information for you in IPB, your rector, Mr. Arif. Mr. Arif has already became our advisor in Tani Foundation and Tani Academy. So the collaboration is really wide open with IPB, because we have already have agreement and MOU, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Vidya. And due to the limited time, the discussion session is over. Thank you so much for the speakers. Thank you so much for the participants. But before we end up the discussion session, I would like to ask for the speakers to giving the closing statement. Yeah, maybe for the first speaker, Mr. Pandu.
Okay, thank you. It's really honor for me to speak in this event in International Summer Course from Sekolah Vokasi IPB. It's really useful for me personally to get a lot of information from the question and from the other speaker, from Pak Ade from Tani Hub and Bang Ruli from Minapoli. It's really amazing, and I want to I hope that this not stopping here. Maybe if there's any chance, we can collaborate to IPB and Tani Hub and Minapoli also for the next step. Thank you very much for this opportunity, IPB. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And then for the second speaker, Mr. Ade Mulya.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said earlier, that what we are trying to do is to develop an efficient and effective and then a sustainable ecosystem for agricultural sector in Indonesia. So we cannot stand alone to do this big thing. This is very, very big for us, because as I said that what we are trying to do right now is only maybe 1% or 2% compared to agricultural sector in Indonesia as a whole. So we need a lot of collaboration, maybe with Mr. Pandu, with Mr. Ruli, and also with the government, with all of the stakeholders, to make our agricultural sectors better in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ade. And the last speaker, Mr. Ruli. Are you still on mute?
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Sylvia, and thank you, Mas Pandu dan Mas Ade. It's such a great opportunity for me to share my experience to all of you here in the occasion of International Summer Course organized by College of Vocational Studies of IPB University. I think my message is, my last message here is, we need more people to become a problem solver. Yeah, so for all the attendees that still studying in the university, after you guys graduate from the university, you need to become one of the problem solvers. You need to become the new tiny hub, new biomac, new monopoly, new e-fisheries, new jala, and new startup. Because as Mas Ade mentioned, that we need to have new innovation to create the new business model, so we can be more efficient and more productive in terms of production in the sector of agriculture, fisheries, and also aquaculture. So starting from the small things, move fast, and starting from now. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ruli. And ladies and gentlemen, well, we are not in the end of the season, but before we close it, I would like to conclude for what the speaker has presented. Resume for all the speakers. The goal of sustainable agriculture is to meet society's food and textile needs in the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. There are many practices commonly used by people working in the sustainable agriculture and sustainable food system. Today, we are very grateful to hear any information from Biomac, Tani Hub, and also Minapoli. Resume during we need youth involvement in agriculture, livestock, and fisheries for their fresh take on the world's oldest industry. Mobiles, Wi-Fi, GPS are all extensions to their bodies that enhance their skill and capabilities. Technological masters of a digital age. While most of the world's food is produced by smallholder farmers in the developing countries, older farmers are less likely to adopt the new technology need to sustainable increase agriculture productivity and ultimately feed the growing world population while protecting the environment. Hence, we need to re-engage youth in agriculture. Young people are powerful agents for change and play a vital role in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, by 2030. Today's youth will become the community leaders, policymakers, and innovators that will determine our planet's future. Initiatives like this help thousands of young people make sure their communities are resilient to the impact of climate change and change the world for the better. Innovation holds the potential to unlock employment opportunity, empower youth to access information, technology, and market, and scale up new solutions to global challenge to food and agriculture. Modern ICTs such as mobile phone and the internet are appeal to rural youth and have high potential for facilitating access to information to enhance productivity on the farm, enable agriculture innovation, and provide access to financial service and markets. Consultation with rural youth from all over the world made it clear that youth pick up new technology related to farming more easily and that young farmers are keen on increasing their production through improved and modern technology. Okay, thank you to all speakers, audience, and organizing committee. For the participants, can you please give a big applause by clicking the clap hand icon? Okay, thank you. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to our Master of Ceremony, Mr. Willy Bahtiar.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sylvia, for guiding these webinars. Again, I would like to thank so much to the speakers, Mr. Pandu Dama Insani Taufik from PT Biomag, Mr. Ade Mulya from Tani Hub, and Mr. Ruli Setiapurnama from Minapoli for informative and interesting presentation, and to the participant for very active participations. Thank you very much for sharing. Let's give a round of applause to all of our speakers. Okay, to participant, let's give a round of applause to all of all speakers. And before I close this webinar sessions, please allow me to remind for tomorrow webinar agenda. Tomorrow we will on the closing international webinar from summer course, Sustainability on Tropical Animal Production, Creating Innovation in the New Normal Era, with the Triple Helix platform to improve innovation in agriculture sector. We will have 3 distinguished speakers. There are from Director of Agriculture Educational Center Ministry of Agriculture, and then from Queensland University Australia, and Director Great Giant Pineapple. Please don't miss the agenda. Finally, we come to the end of this webinar. On behalf of organizing committee, thank you all for making time to join us here today. It has been our pleasure to host this event. Stay safe and healthy. See you in the next webinar. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Ruli, Pak Pandu, Pak Ade.
Terima kasih Pak Pandu, Pak Ade.
Terima kasih
Terima
Pak
kasih
Ruli, Pak
semuanya.
Pandu, Pak Ade.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih Pak Pandu, Pak Ade, Bang Ruli. Thank you very much.
yang condong pada mimpi. Memang tak banyak orang yang mengerti tentang ini. baiknya sejenak renungkan, kita diciptakan berbeda demi satu pesan yang sejuk untuk saling melengkapi. Memang tak banyak orang yang mengerti tentang ini, tapi ikatan batin kan menggema sepanjang waktu. Percayalah, kita melegenda di sana. Pilih masa depanmu di warna mimpimu. Jika kita pernah berbagi air mata, sahabat jangan lupa bahagia bersama. Bersama fokus meraih mimpi prestasi. Percayalah, kita melegenda di sana. Pilih masa depanmu di warna mimpimu. Jika kita pernah berbagi air mata, sahabat jangan lupa bahagia bersama. Percayalah, kita menyatukan semua mereka yang selalu ragukan dirimu. Jika kita pernah berbagi air mata, sahabat jangan lupa bahagia bersama. Pilih masa depanmu di warna mimpimu. Sahabat jangan lupa bahagia bersama. Vokasi berjaya, vokasi berjaya.
Terima kasih. Mau di
Terima
end
kasih.
meeting?
Ya, end meeting for all. Kak, terima kasih banyak.
Baiklah. BTW agenda besok udah ada belum? Oh ya, end
Udah.
live YouTube gimana
Oke.
caranya?
Siap Bu, saya